Hello, my name is Alaa Jaradat, and for my film project, I chose to analyze one of Ridley Scott's most iconic and popular films, Gladiator. Picture this, a cold, foggy forest, drums pounding in the distance, and Roman soldiers standing shoulder to shoulder, waiting for the enemy. Before a single arrow is fired, you can already feel the tension building. That's the power of Ridley Scott's direction. So, before Ridley Scott was making huge Hollywood movies, he actually got to start directing commercials, which is pretty cool because that's where he developed his eye for visuals. His breakout film was Alien in 1979, a sci-fi horror classic known for its suspenseful atmosphere and visual design. He followed that with Blade Runner, which helped define the look and tone of dystopian sci-fi, and later went on to direct films like Black Hawk Down, The Martian, and of course Gladiator, which won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Actor. Also, Gladiator 2 just came out recently, and honestly, I don't think it was good. It tried to be epic like the first one, but it felt more like a regular action movie. It was missing the heart and emotion that made the original so good. The opening battle scene in Gladiator throws you right into the action, setting the harsh tone for what's to come. Ridley Scott uses framing, lighting, camera movements, and sounds to show how the quest for justice and the pain of loss can drive someone to seek redemption. Gladiator is set in ancient Rome and follows Maximus Decimus Meridius, a general who leads the Roman army to a major victory. After his triumph, he's betrayed by Commodus, the emperor's son, who murders his father and takes the throne for himself. Maximus is captured, sold into slavery, and forced to fight as a gladiator. As he rises through the ranks of the arena, he seeks revenge on Commodus for the death of his family and his wrongful fall from power. Along the way, Maximus forms alliances with the other gladiators and earns the respect of people. His ultimate goal is to return to Rome, confront Commodus, and restore justice. Here's the clip I chose for analysis.
Are you ready to do your duty for Rome?
Yes, Father.
You will not be emperor.
Which wiser older man is to take my place?
My powers will pass to Maximus, to hold in trust until the Senate is ready to rule once more. Rome is to be a republic again.
Maximus.
Yes. My decision disappoints you?
You wrote to me once, listing the 4 chief virtues: wisdom, justice, fortitude, and temperance. As I read the list, I knew I had none of them. But I have other virtues, Father. Ambition. That can be a virtue when it drives us to excel. Resourcefulness, courage. Perhaps not on the battlefield, but there are many forms of courage. Devotion to my family, to you. But none of my virtues won your list. Even then, it was as if you didn't want me for your son.
Oh, Commodus, you go too far.
I searched the faces of the gods for ways to please you, to make you proud. One kind word, one full hug, where you pressed me to your chest and held me tight. What have been like the sum of my heart for 1,000 years. What is this enemy you hate so much? All I've ever wanted was to live up to Caesar. Father.
Commodus? Your false as a son is my failure as a father.
I would put to the whole world if you would only love me.
Ridley Scott is known for his use of low-key lighting, so it's only appropriate that we start with it. In the scene where Commodus kills his father, the low-key lighting sets a dark, heavy mood. The tent is full of deep shadows, making everything feel tense and secretive. Commodus is mostly lit with side lighting, so half his face is in the shadow and half in light, showing his inner conflict and emotional divide. As he moves in to smother Marcus, the light shifts to bottom lighting, casting eerie shadows upward on his face and making him look almost monstrous, as if the darkness inside of him is finally showing on the outside. Meanwhile, Marcus is shown with soft front lighting, which makes his face look peaceful and noble, even as he dies. These lighting choices, low-key, side, bottom, and front lighting, quietly show the contrast between father and son, and between fading goodness and rising corruption. Ridley Scott uses a variety of camera angles to enhance the emotional power of the scene where Commodus kills his father. It begins with eye-level shots, placing the viewer on the same level as both characters, creating a sense of closeness and realism, as if we're quietly intruding on a deeply personal moment. As Marcus lies helpless, the camera shifts to a high angle, making him appear small and powerless, emphasizing his vulnerability in his final moments. After the murder, low-angle shots are used on Commodus, making him seem larger and more threatening, visually signalizing his rise to power and dominance. At the emotional peak, right before he kills his father, Scott briefly uses a Dutch angle, tilting the frame just slightly to make everything feel off balance. This subtle shift reflects Commodus' unstable mental state and the moral disorder of the moment. Altogether, these angles guide our emotional response and reinforce the dramatic shift in power and character. Sound in the scene is layered and emotional, helping tell the story without needing many words. The diegetic sounds like the quiet crackle of the fire, the rustling of Commodus' clothes, and his unsteady breathing.
I search the faces of the gods.
Make the moment feel painfully real, pulling us into the small, tense space of the tent. Over this, a non-diegetic sound slowly builds. Low strings and soft core voices drift in, giving the scene a sacred, mournful tone.
And temperance.
The strings suggest sorrow and inevitability, while the distant vocals make the moment feel like a funeral before the death even happens. Finally, there's a touch of internal diegetic sound when Commodus whispers,
If you would only love me.
It's not just a line, it feels like a confession to himself, as if we're hearing his private, broken thoughts. Together, these layers of sound make the scene feel intimate, tragic, and deeply human. Through his careful use of lighting, camera angles, and sound, Ridley Scott doesn't just show a murder, he reveals the emotional complexity behind it. By placing us in the Commodus' shadowy, unstable world, Scott helps us understand that even terrible actions can be driven by deep hurt and a longing to be seen or loved. In doing so, the scene becomes more than just a turning point in the plot. it becomes a powerful reflection of how grief, rejection, and the desire for justice can twist into something darker. Ultimately, Scott reminds us that the path to redemption often begins in the heart of loss.